How's it going, guys? My name is Franco and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going through our monthly analysis for the month of November. Now we are a little bit early. It is only the 30th of October as of the time of recording, but I've got a free day, so I thought I better just smash out this video, and I haven't uploaded for a while. I've just recently been on holiday, so I apologize, but it was good that I went during the month so I could still do my monthly analysis uploads to keep you guys up to date if you do regularly follow this. So pretty well. Before we do jump any further, let's just remind you guys we are at 763 subscribers. So thank you for pushing us over that 750 like we asked for in the last video. Much appreciated. But now we're pushing on further for 800 subs. So if you are new to the channel, you like this sort of content, we do, obviously technical analysis, and we do, review exchanges and different things. And, if any of these videos look like of interest, particularly for Aussies, we do cover a lot more Australia specific content like Coinspot and Swyftx. So that may be of interest to you. And we do have referrals down in the description below for a variety of different exchanges if you are interested. So as I said, in this video, we're going to be covering what we believe is to come for the month of November, further into November, going into next year, and basically look back at what happened in October and sort of see if our analysis has changed. Now, last month we were talking about, if we pull it up, breakout imminent, right? We were talking about essentially an imminent breakout for Bitcoin and, cryptos, I guess, in general, because, most cryptos tend to follow Bitcoin, but, in specifically an imminent breakout for Bitcoin. And that's sort of what we're starting to see. We've been following this 4-year cycle analysis, as well as our pre-halving pullback theory, where essentially, the squares talk for themselves, right? 1 year up, 1 year down, 2 years across, 1 year up, 1 year down, 2 years across, right? And we are in that 2-year across stage, or the accumulation stage, whatever you want to call it. We are getting ready for a breakout. We were sort of looking at this, right? Okay, so 24 months from the low in November obviously takes us to November 2024. Now, yes, we are a little bit early, but all of these cycles and everything, they're just sort of rough guidelines, right? They're not going to play out the same every time. Don't expect the breakout on November 1st, and don't expect the cycle to end October 1st, 2025, just because that's what's happened prior. It's not going to play out the same every single time. It's going to be slightly different. But as you can see, we really have been following this to a T. We called the pullback at around March. We were calling it for a couple of months leading into it, saying that things were probably getting a bit too hot, and it was time for a pullback, because we have also been looking at a pre-halving pullback, where essentially we push up into a peak prior to the halving, and then we have a decent reaccumulation phase until an eventual breakout. And as you can see, so far this is we haven't broken out yet. I don't believe we've actually reached an all-time high, not quite yet. So we haven't broken out yet, but we're in our 7th month. So we've been saying we're expecting this to last 6, 7, or 8 months, give or take, somewhere in that area. So we are in our 7th month at the moment. So maybe it breaks out before the October candle closes, or maybe we wait till the November candle to eventually break out into a new all-time high. And then what we expect going into, I guess, very late 2024, November, December, and the new year is essentially our 1-year parabolic. So unless something drastic changes in the structure of Bitcoin, if we see, at the moment, currently our swing low is now down at, what number is this? 49,000. So unless, we come down and test that swing low or break below it, the structure won't really have changed. So what I mean, I'll try and elaborate that a little bit further, but, we're following this theory, and unless that's a squiggly line, so we're going to be following this theory essentially unless something breaks down. And typically what we look at is our monthly swing low. So, we've got a monthly swing low here at about 49,000. Ignore that terrible line. We've got one here down at about 24,000, but we don't really need to worry about this one anymore because we have printed a new monthly swing low. So unless Bitcoin rolls over from here, goes below, comes back up, goes lower, that's the real cause for concern there. But that's a long way away, and as we said, unless that happens, there's no real cause for concern. We're just going to continue to follow our 4-year cycle and continue to basically predict the Bitcoin breakout has sort of started, and it will likely lead to a pretty good year coming up very soon. We've also been looking at our monthly returns chart. This is a really interesting chart, but something we want to look at in particular is years where September is green. First and foremost, we've been sort of looking at this, in September we saw, or at the start of September we sort of said don't expect September to be a great month, because you only have to look at history to see that September historically is one of the worst months for Bitcoin. But on the contrary side, right, if September is a green month, what you see is 100% of the time, if September's green, the rest of the year is green. So obviously last year, September's green, October's green, November, December, September, October, November, December, September, October, November, December, all green months. So this month being green, of course, this isn't likely something that's going to play out for the rest of the time. There are going to be, there's going to be a time when September's green and one of these months are red, absolutely. But ultimately what we want to do in trading is put probability on our side, and probability suggests that because September was green, it was actually the best performing September ever, which is kind of surprising. I didn't realize that till just today when I was looking back at it. And I was like, wow, it's actually the best September ever for Bitcoin. So well done to people who predicted it to be green. But what we expect is a green October, which is more than likely locked in. And we, of course, as we said, we've got about 2 days until the October candle closes, but I don't expect a big drop in that time. And then obviously November and December are looking primed to be green. Could they be red? Yes. Marginally red, yes. But as we said, the general uptrend is still bullish. So even if November or December are red, that doesn't necessarily invalidate our overall 4-year cycle theory. And then what we want to also look at going into 2025, if we look at prior bull market years, we've got essentially, 2021, the 2021 bull market, we've got the 2017 bull market, give or take, of course, we're looking at this roughly, February through to, late, 2017, give or take. And then we've obviously got the 2013, so it's 13, 17, 21, and obviously 25, so 4-year cycles. If we have a look at what these years are like, so 13, if we just more focus on the first half of the year, that's generally where we're going to see our best returns. You can see an incredible year right in 2013, and then we go to 2017, a bit of a slow year, obviously 0.04%, not terrible. Green month, and then obviously yes, a red month, but then the rest of the year very, very green, really good year for Bitcoin. In 17, 21, obviously same thing again, right? 14, 36, 29, another really good year to be in Bitcoin. And what we expect going into 2025 would be give or take similar. As you can see, yes, 2015, oh sorry, not 2015, 2017, yes, there were a couple of red months, but the rest of the year was really good. And there's going to be red months even in those bullish years. When are they? I don't know. Are they going to change my thesis? More than likely not. As we said, unless swing lows are broken, unless structure changes entirely, but until then, we're not going to really budge on our theory that Bitcoin is looking very, very good. And with Bitcoin looking very good, something that we did get wrong, I'll put it straight out there, I got this call wrong, was Bitcoin dominance. We were sort of looking at this box as our general reaccumulation phase, somewhere where we would probably pull up for Bitcoin dominance. We got that call wrong. Obviously, we've pushed much higher. So well done to those Bitcoin bulls. We got this one wrong, but ultimately, we've been in Bitcoin still. We're still buying, I know I am still, bought Bitcoin at the lows. I probably switched a little bit more towards altcoins a little bit too early. That's something that I'll look at going into the future, obviously, my next cycle and next investing, that probably need to reevaluate how we do things, but you live and you learn. We got this call wrong. Bitcoin dominance looks really strong. So now for Bitcoin dominance, it's sort of back to where we were a long time ago. I remember looking at this and sort of saying, until something drastic changes, we're not going to, be bearish on Bitcoin dominance. We sort of called it around here. We sort of thought maybe this is the turning point. When we look back at it, we sort of were looking at this as sort of a lower low, and potentially starting to roll over a little bit, but it wasn't. It sprang back pretty quickly. So same thing, unless something drastic changes, no real point being an altcoin bull until things clearly change. Or if you're looking at you know, a specific token to Bitcoin value or something, maybe you could you know, do something like that. But obviously, in general, overall, Bitcoin is still the king. And you can really see that in a chart like Ethereum, as we've been saying for a long time as well. $4,000, massive resistance. We've seen that. In our worst case scenario was essentially a pullback towards this trend line, which we did see. And then since then, last month, you know, if we look back at October 1st, whereabouts is that? You know, this candle right in here, like, at that point in time, we're just saying, you know, we're sort of in limbo. You know, we're holding on the trend line. There's overhead resistance. Let's just wait and see. Of course, Ethereum has been lagging Bitcoin quite considerably, which isn't good for ETH holders, people who are holding ETH over Bitcoin. But ultimately, I think, you know, once you get above that 4,000, I think that's the big resistance level. Once Bitcoin starts to break out, ETH will follow. Is it going to perform as well as Bitcoin? I don't really know. You know, you guys hedge your bets. You hedge your bets either way. I tend to just play both sides of the coin. I'm holding a bit of ETH, holding a bit of Bitcoin. You know, I'm not going to try and pick which one is going to be the best performer. Of course, later in the cycle, when altcoins probably pick up a bit more, yes, ETH will outperform Bitcoin. But early in the cycle, Bitcoin will outperform Ethereum. So take what you want from that, but you know, at this point in time, ETH's really in limbo. I'm not expecting massive gains over the coming, you know, month or two. Maybe, you know, as Bitcoin really starts to push into a bit more of a parabolic stage and things start to get a little bit crazy, yes, then I would expect some pretty good things. But at this point in time, as we said, same as last month, just in limbo. Let's just hold up and let's see what's going to happen. Now, same thing for Kronos. As we said, Bitcoin dominance still rising, so Bitcoin is still essentially our best bet if we're looking for short-term gains. But Crow still looks to be in sort of its, you know, long accumulation phase. It is sort of slowing down. In the sense that, you know, it's not as steep, it's not as volatile as it was. That's what we want. But, you know, ultimately we need to start putting in higher lows. So until something like that changes, you know, we're still holding our monthly swing low, which is good. But we really just got to wait and see, like with Crow at this point in time, you know, does this support point hold? That's a big if. And then, you know, do we start to push up again higher? At this point in time, nothing to really say that this isn't the accumulation like we've been talking about. It still does look to be in decent structure, but that can change really fast, right? Big red day, who knows? But at this point in time, yeah, we're holding on to the support for Crow. If you're a big Crow bull and you think Crow's the future, then I think this is a good spot to buy. But if you're a bit more of a skepticist, you know, wait to see something more. Wait to see more validation, right? Wait to get above 10 cents, consolidate above. You know, this wasn't really a consolidation above 10 cents. It pushed up high, got over here, came straight back down. Once we get above, hold a key area like 10 cents, then we can start talking more seriously about real gains. But as we've been saying, right, like if you're just looking to get in low on some altcoins, we were talking about this whole area being a big accumulation, and then obviously these sort of realms being another bit of an accumulation point before another push up, hopefully. And then as for my favorite altcoin so far of this bull market is Solana. And we're talking about, you know, strong altcoins. You can't really look past Solana. The charts are pretty clearly quite different. Solana holding its 50% level really well, and as Bitcoin starts to push up towards new all-time highs, well, Solana is also pushing up, not to all-time highs just yet, but, you know, really, you know, we're still pushing up, you know, towards, you know, prior highs, such as the, you know, the current swing top at about $209. It is looking like it's gearing up to sort of break out of those levels, assuming Bitcoin can continue up. And the returns, you know, if you were brave enough to be buying Solana, you know, down at $10, you know, $20, whatever it was, the returns are absolutely incredible at this point in time. And you know, honestly, I would expect those to continue for a little bit longer. As we said, you know, we're going into this sort of everything bull market. You know, the last, you know, year, the 4-year cycle. Of course, you know, if you know, we really want to take a step back and look at things like the 18.6 year cycle. You know, we're gearing up into the final couple of years of that, so things should look really good. But keep an eye on invalidation levels. You know, this is sort of a boring video to make, right? Because I'm just saying things are looking really rosy, right? You know, there's no real bad news. There's nothing to really suggest anything's going to change, but, you know, keep an eye on those invalidation points, and just if something does change, you know, act accordingly. And as discussed, those invalidation points, I personally look at are things like the swing low, which we currently have at about 49,000, but we're obviously a long way away from there. It looks like we've just finished our pre-halving pullback, and we're gearing up into this final green year. Don't look at the price 200,000. That's just that's not anything in particular. I've just had to draw the box there. I've had it there for a long time. So wherever this ends, right, we're typically, we'll keep this on 11 bars, but ultimately we look at this as a bit more of a time based target, and our time-based target is late 2025. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye out for invalidation points, but until then, things are looking great. Hopefully you guys have been following the channel for a long time and been accumulating during this 2-year accumulation phase like we've been talking about, and you can start to see those rewards. And if you did enjoy, if you think you learned something, feel free to hit that subscribe button. We're pushing for 800 subs at the moment, and what was I going to say? And feel free to use the referral codes down below. Any questions, feel free to ask away. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.